Hi class, in this video we are going to focus on discussing the asymptotes of rational function. So what is asymptote po ba? So asymptote na po is an imaginary line to which a graph gets closer and closer as the x or y increases or decreases its value without limit. So there are three kinds na may encounter natin. We have the vertical, horizontal, and oblique. So first, let's proceed with our vertical asymptote. So the vertical line x is equal to a is a vertical asymptote of a function f if the graph increases or decreases without bound as the x values approaches A from right or left. So, let's see the illustration. So, ang ating daw pong vertical line, x is equal to A. For this example, the x is equal to A natin, base dito ay, ito ay 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, therefore, our x is equal to negative 5. So, the vertical line or the graph of x is equal to negative 5 is considered as the vertical asymptote for this graph y. Because as you can see, as your x values, ayan, from negative number papuntang positive, as your x value approaches or increases, ayan, to the left side of your vertical asymptote, as your x value increases, mapapansin mo without bound, napapalapit siya or it is approaching your vertical asymptote. However, it will not touch your vertical asymptote. Then, dito naman po, as you can observe from positive, mapapansin mo, from the vertical asymptote, galing sa right side niya, mapapansin mo yung behavior ng iyong graph as your graph decreases from positive x to negative, ayan, decreases siya without bound, mapapansin mo na yung graph mo ay approaching your vertical asymptote. Diba? It will approach but it will not touch or intersect your vertical asymptote. Ayan. So that is your vertical asymptote, a line which is x is equal to a. So how to determine the vertical asymptote? Para lang din po siyang nagko-compute kayo ng domain. So to determine the vertical asymptote of a rational function, first, of course, reduce the given function to simplest form. Then find the zeros of the denominators that are not zeros of the numerator. So we are going to find yung kanyang x is equal to 0 or yung value ng x that would make your function equal to 0 yung denominator. So let's have this example letter A, f of x. A, f of x is equal to x minus 1 over x plus 5. So obviously, nakasimplify naman na po yung numerator and denominator natin. So, proceed na po tayo sa pagkuha ng ating vertical asymptote. So, for us to get the vertical asymptote, we have to just equate our denominator, just like how we did it in our domain to find the restriction. So, therefore, solution, you will have x plus 5 is equal to 0. So, therefore, we have x equal to negative 5. So, this is now our vertical asymptote. X is equal to 5. So, kung meron kang x-axis, ayan, this is your origin. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, meron tayong imaginary line na yan. Yung x, this is the graph of equation x is equal to negative 5. So, ayan, yung imaginary line na yan, your graph will approach this one but it will not intersect. O, ganyan din yan. Then, sometimes, pag imaginary line, nag-ano tayo ng broken line when we try to sketch it. Next, let's have letter B. So, for letter B naman, we have small letter f of x is equal to x plus 2 over x plus 1, x minus 4. So, same lang po. Equate natin yung ating denominator into x plus 1 times x minus 4 is equal to 0. So, pwede na nating equate separately ang ating x plus 1 to 0 and x minus 4 to 0. So, you will have x is equal to negative 1 and x is equal to negative 4. Or positive 4 na pala, and positive 4. Ayan. So, this is now our vertical asymptote. Ma'am, would it be possible na dalawa po yung maging vertical asymptote natin? Yes po, pwede po siya. So, ang magiging itsura niyan sa ating x-axis, so if this is the origin, 0, so 1, 2, 3, 4, then ito ay negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. So, let's graph the equation x is equal to negative 1. So, dito yun, no? So, draw lang tayo ng imaginary line. Ayan. Ayan. Then, sa 4 naman, ganun din, x is equal to 4. Pagka graph natin yan, ganito itsura ng ating graph. So, this is x is equal to negative 1. This is x is equal to positive 4. So, ayan ang magiging itsura niyan sa sketching mo ng iyong rational function with respect to your vertical asymptote. Pwede yan. So, mangyayari lang dito, magkakaroon ka ng division na 3 sa iyong number line. Then, lastly, let's have our letter C. So, for our letter C, we have our g of x is equal to 2x squared minus x plus 1 all over x squared minus 6x plus 9. So, ganun din. We just have to equate our denominator by 0. So, that is x squared minus 6x plus 9 is equal to 0. And we can factor out this 1 into negative 6, then 9. So, therefore, that is x minus 3, x minus 3. No? Then, equate mo by 0 both your x, yung iyong mga factors. So, magiging x minus 3 is equal to 0, then x minus 3 is equal to 0, wherein your x is equal to 3. So, isa lang po ang magiging vertical asymptote mo. Magkaparehas lang naman po siya. Another thing that you have to take note na ito pong mga na-solve mong vertical asymptote na to are the values of the zeros of the denominator, but not the numerator. Okay? So, ito ay nakuha mo kasi sa pag-equate mo ng denominator. So, most likely, for the denominators lang po siya. So, it does not imply that this is your x-intercept or the value or the zero of your numerator. Now, let's have our horizontal asymptote. So, horizontal asymptote is the horizontal line y is equal to b. A horizontal asymptote daw of a function f if f of x gets closer to b as x increases or decreases without bound. So, for this example po sa ating illustration dito sa ating kanan, bahagi, you can observe na ito po ang ating horizontal line. So, let's say that this is the graph of y is equal to 1. So, let's say this is the graph of y is equal to 1. Now, as you can observe, as your x decreases rather, so makikita mo na yung values ng, as it goes to the left, to the negative infinity, it decreases. So, as you can observe, ano nagiging value niya sa y? 'Di ba? Papalapit siya sa y is equal to 1. Papalapit siya, it gets closer, but it does not intersect your asymptote. So, ganun din naman po sa kabila. As your x approaches to positive infinity, mapapansin mo from negative papuntang positive infinity as it increase without bound, you can observe that it gets closer to your y is equal to 1. So, this line na nag-limit or nagiging parang restriction ng iyong graph is what you call the horizontal line. Horizontal line, y is equal to b. So, how to find the horizontal line? Ang kailangan mo lang pong gawin is to compare the degree of the numerator n and the degree of the denominator d. So, kapag daw po ang n mo ay less than your d, automatically your horizontal asymptote will be y is equal to 0. Pag equal naman po ang degree ng numerator and denominator mo, take note, ang titingnan mo ay yung leading term mo, yung iyong term na may highest degree. So, kapag po equal sila, you will solve for your horizontal asymptote by using the formula y is equal to a over b. What is a and b? Ang a daw po is the leading coefficient of the numerator a, and the b is the leading coefficient of the numerator b. And lastly, kapag mas malaki ang degree ng numerator kesa sa denominator, there is no horizontal asymptote daw na makikita mo sa iyong graph. Now, let's apply these concepts na ating natutunan in identifying or in finding horizontal asymptote in our examples. So, let's have examples A, B, and C. So, let's have first our f of x. Capital F of x is equal to 3x plus 8 all over x squared plus 1. So, let's first identify yung ating leading terms. So, obviously, ang ating leading terms are the terms with highest degree. So, sa ating numerator, that is 3x. And sa ating denominator, that is x squared. So, obviously, ang n natin dito is 1. Ayan, kahit hindi natin nakikita, our n there is 1. And then, for the denominator, our degree is 2. So, obviously, our n is less than our denominator. The degree of our numerator is less than the degree of our denominator. So, therefore, we can say that our horizontal asymptote is y equal to 0. Ayan. Then, yan na. Then, next naman natin, let's have small letter f of x is equal to 3 plus 8x squared all over x squared plus 1. So, for this instance naman, mapapansin mo that your numerator is not arranged from highest to lowest. Pero, you can easily identify naman what is your leading term for this one, diba? Your leading term is obviously the term with the highest degree, which is 8x squared. So, ang iyong n is 2, and for your leading term ng denominator, you have d is 2. So, obviously, ang iyo pong numerator and denominator, when you try to compare them, is equal. So, for you to compute or to solve for your horizontal asymptote, kailangan solution, you will solve for y is equal to a over b. And what is our a ba? And what is our b? So, base po dito sa ating leading term, ang ating pong leading coefficient for our numerator is positive 8, while in our denominator, the leading term has a leading coefficient of 1. So, substitute na po natin. You will have 8 over 1, which is equal to 8. So, therefore, our horizontal asymptote is y equal to 8. Ayan. And lastly, we have g of x is equal to 8x cubed minus 1 all over 1 minus x squared. So, dito, ang ating leading term is, sa numerator, ay 8x cubed. So, ang ating n is cube, while our denominator is negative x squared. So, 2. Then, when we try to compare our n and t, we can say that our numerator is greater than our denominator. So, therefore, we can conclude that there is no horizontal asymptote for this function.